He's got stories to make your night with analytics sharp as a knife. We're rocking out and heading up the scene. Sports fanatic dreams extreme. From the Eagles' pride to Phillies' dreams. Stay tuned and your screen turns green. Pattison Fanatics drink for brains. With fire written on veins, we spark the flames. Crank it up high, no holding back. We're breaking the mold, stay on track.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Pattison Phanatics Show. I'm your host, Tom Kelly. With me, as always, my man, Alan Andrukavich.
Oh, man. Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here. And, man, dude, I love that darn song, to be honest with you.
It's pretty all right. David Salim in the building, making a special appearance. What's up, my brother?
Hey, what's happening, man? How y'all doing? How you doing, man?
Very good. Very good.
We're here, getting ready to talk some draft. And Vaughn Visay making his first appearance on the Pattison Phanatics Show. Vaughn, what's going on?
Nothing much. Ready to talk bad about the Eagles, that's all.
I love it. I love the fire.
Okay.
Okay.
They starting them young out there.
There's a check.
Already. Okay.
I'll put a check under your name. Don't go too far. It'll get nasty in here. Well, before we get into
we're going to keep receipts, too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But before we get into the business at hand, let's do a couple promo shots here. Our Small Business Saturday show. Norm and I, you can catch a new episode every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Each week, we spotlight a different small business, anywhere from around the corner to around the globe. Tune in each week as Norm and myself catch up with a new small business, just finding out how they got started, about them, kind of all the nooks and crannies in each small business spotlight that we do. And again, you catch them. We release a new one every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. On the Cole County Entertainment YouTube and Facebook pages. And before we get started, listen, today's show is brought to you by Plexus. Feeling drained, dealing with joint discomfort, having a hard time losing those extra pounds? Amen to that. I can feel that for sure. Simply scan the QR code to get in touch with Joey Nye today. With her track record of success, she will create a personalized plan that caters specifically to your needs. Joey and I do figure out a couple of things for old TK over here. I definitely need a little bit of help. Plus, the consultation is complimentary. This is your opportunity to embark on a journey towards improved well-being, which, look, at this point in all our lives in 2025, I think all of us could use a little bit of improved well-being.
Absolutely.
Especially those Dallas Cowboys after their last few seasons of Trek. And nonsense.
They still didn't get themselves a quarterback, did they?
Yeah.
So, all right, Vaughn, I'm telling him, I'm dropping it on him right now. So, draft night, Vaughn was over and we were watching the draft together. And I had Vaughn fully convinced that the Cowboys were going to draft Shedeur Sanders. I brought up the connection with, and we'll get into Shedeur and all of that, the bells and whistles with that in a little bit. But, I said there's the Deion Sanders connection. They reached out to him already. Now they can move away from Dak Prescott, who's been doing nothing but dragging the franchise down for years versus Tony Romo. Then it's this friggin' guy. But Vaughn stood strong, and I do have to give him credit. He is, as much as Eagles fans might not enjoy Cowboys fans, Vaughn knows his stuff, and he rides or die with his team. So I got to give him credit there. Now,
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
For us on the Eagles end, Vaughn, we will definitely dive into a little bit of what your team has done.
It's funny you say that real quick. So months ago, I said to my coworkers, Jerry Jones is going to call Deion to come coach and draft Shakur. Now, obviously that didn't happen. However, he did talk to Deion. Like when he was making his coach changes, he did talk to him. So I just thought that was quite interesting. But Deion was never leaving Colorado. No.
I think they both said they were non-committal, non-interested. You know what I mean? The whole thing. So
yeah, it would have been more of a spectacle if you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So what do you think about
new Cowboy Dave?
What do you think about Vaughn Visay being the new Cowboy Dave now? Cowboy Dave Vaughn, and those new viewers to the show who don't know Cowboy Dave, He used to call into the radio stations in Philly, the WIP, Sports Talk WIP, and 97.5 the Fanatic, Cowboy Dave. There was 2 Cowboy Days. This guy called in all the time. Well, when I moved out to Delaware County, I would wait for my daughter, and this crossing guard would come over and talk to me all the time. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan." And I said, "You sound familiar." And he goes, "I'm Cowboy Dave." I said, "That figures." So Cowboy Dave was a longtime caller. We would bring him on the show. He cheered for the other Philly sports teams, but he was a Cowboys fan. There's something about us Eagles fan that turns a lot of people off.
Yeah.
So
because we just don't care. As much as we care, we just don't care.
Or we care too much, or we curse too much, or beat people up in the stands, or throw batteries at babies. I don't know.
Whatever.
Hey, look, if you're going to yell stuff,
okay, I'm just going to throw that out
there. From the producer's booth, why don't you jump into the chat? Why don't you jump in and talk? Otherwise, you just stay there in the producer's booth, Norman. So the Eagles, guys, let's jump real quick into the Philadelphia Eagles. Heavy defense, heavy defensive picks.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, let's be honest. I think a lot of us thought that the Eagles would lean heavy towards the defense. Damon, what are your thoughts on them? Are you liking the fact that they went heavy on defense? I mean, offensive wise, they had the people locked up that they needed to have locked up.
Mm-hmm.
They really didn't lose too many offensive weapons. In fact, they gained, a couple over the offseason. What are you thinking about them going real heavy on the draft here in the defensive end?
Well, it makes sense on so many levels, and I know I'll probably have some good thoughts to speak to this as well. And I'll start by saying he started replenishing, and what I mean is that you lost Williams, you lost Sweat, you lost Slay, you lost Rodgers, you lost some key components to last year's team and number one defense. And the beautiful thing about it is you still have guys in play, young guys, the Quinyon Mitchells, the Cooper DeJeans, right? You still have those guys, the Bonds, and now you have those guys in play. And the key cog is Jalen Carter, right? So you're preparing to give him what he's going to be worth or do, if you will. So what I like on so many levels is that, one, they're replenishing for now and also the future. In addition to that, if you look at, and I know you guys will get to it, like for instance, they took the kid Ty Robinson from Nebraska. Interesting pick because like Jordan Davis, I like Jordan and I know he's coming along. However, he's doing a contract. So you replenish, you make competition, and that's a Vic Fangio thing. So to your point, TK, I like it. They needed to do it. It was a necessity on so many levels, and it brings good competition. So I like what they did.
Alan, are you kind of in lock and step here with Damon as far as going heavy defense?
Oh, absolutely. I think they made the right moves on offense. They got the guard and 2 tackles. We got one of the okay. So let's talk about Jahad Campbell. Okay, the first draft pick. Okay, let's talk about him. Yeah. All right, this kid can play stand up linebacker. Okay, or rush the edge. So now you have 2. Okay, this young man in Vic Fangio's defense who can mold him to maybe he doesn't get a whole lot of playing time this year. Maybe he steps right in. We don't know. We'll find out, right? But this kid can play off the ball linebacker and rush the edge. So that is just exciting to me. Our safety, everybody says he's undersized. You watch his film. This kid, he doesn't care that he's undersized. He's gonna go hurt you. He's gonna punish you.
Do you see him de-helmet that one video clip of him de-helmet in the QB?
Yes. So, I'm excited. I'm glad they went heavy defense. In my opinion, what we lost, we didn't lose. We didn't lose. We're right back in it.
So
Number
before
one defense, top 5 defense next year.
Can I just jump in real quick to piggyback off of what Al said with
Sure.
Jihad? They were talking about Jihad as a top tier player early in the season.
Yep.
We're talking about this kid, and I know he has a shoulder situation, and according to reports, he's going to be fine. They're going to use him. Vaughn, you're going to love this, Vaughn. They're going to use him like Michael Parsons, TK.
Okay.
Big
All right.
Fangio's going to move him around.
Yep.
There's going to be certain situations where you're not even know if he's coming.
Yep.
Trust me when I tell you that.
Yep.
So let me, Vaughn. I'm going to
about that night.
I'm going to segue into Vaughn here in 1 second because I went on Fox Sports. I just picked a random, NFL.com, all these other ones. I picked the grades for the NFC East teams, and I'm going to get into that in 1 second. I'm going to kick it to Vaughn because I want to hear what his thoughts are on this. He's probably going to tell me that I'm out of my mind and I'm lying. But anyway, the Eagles did something now. Linebacker has been my favorite position on the football field forever from my existence as a youth. I've been watching the draft since I was younger than Vaughn is. Seriously, I've been watching it a long time. And for his age, I think he probably knows more at his age about football and things than I did at his age. However, the Eagles have done something for the first time in the fourth time in 89 years they drafted a linebacker with their first overall pick, and the first time since 1979.
Yeah.
Jerry Robinson.
Yes.
Now,
when I saw, I had to do a triple take. I was falling asleep because when you win the Super Bowl, right, Vaughn? When you win the Super Bowl, your picks are way at the end of the first round. Okay. So when they took,
does that happen in your lifetime, Vaughn? Can I ask you that?
Absolutely. If you doubled,
I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
If you doubled his age, he still wouldn't have seen a Super Bowl. But anyway, I thought that was going to be nice. I lied. But so when they drafted a linebacker in the first round, and a linebacker from Alabama, here we go. Hold on. We got some comments, and then I'm going to kick it to Vaughn right now. Vaughn, I went on Fox Sports today. You're going to flip the frig out when I do this. We have grading for the NFC East. Should have drafted Shador, maybe. Don't put up with this, Vaughn. Norm's coming to your defense. So the gradings for the NFC East are as follows: your Philadelphia Eagles an A-. This is Fox Sports. The New York Football Giants, A-. The Washington Bum-Manders, as Gilly the Kid would like to call them. Sorry, Norm. A B. And the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, a B-. Vaughn, what do you have to say about this B- rating? Now, I have a feeling you guys got a B- rating because
self-proclaimed
help
America's team.
They got no help for CeeDee Lamb in the higher rounds. Vaughn, what are you thinking about this?
I think the Giants and the Dallas had the best drafts of the NFC. The Giants got Abdul and Dart in the first round. They fixed two of their biggest issues there. But, it's easy. There's still a lot of good free agent receivers out there like Amari Cooper. Even though we didn't fix up the receiver problem, I still feel like we had a good draft. We replaced Zach Martin. We fixed the running back issue, and I feel like that was our major issues.
100%. I agree. Go ahead, Al. Be nice. Be nice.
I know. So to fix your wide receiver issue, you're going to bring back Amari Cooper?
Amari Cooper and Dak were a great duo.
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
I like that situation very much. Please bring Amari Cooper back.
Horses and carriages were great duos back in the 1800s as well. But we have moved on. It is 2025.
Please bring him back. That would be wonderful.
So when you hear diabolical scumbag Eagles fans such as ourselves, when you hear us say we want Dak Prescott to be your quarterback for as long as possible, we want you to bring back Amari Cooper. I hope you understand that we're just being assholes, and we just want you guys to stay down there in the depths and the bottom with the New York
The nether.
Giants of the NFC East.
Yes, the Nether. We go to Minecraft right now. I just saw that movie with my youngest son and all my kids yesterday. It was his 8th birthday, so big shout out to Adrian.
Happy
But
birthday,
yeah, the Nether. We want you guys to stay in the Nether. You know?
Vaughn, how are you thinking? Because again, you know, all ball busting aside, the Cowboys are every year coming out of the gate. You got to worry about. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts as far how the Cowboys are going to look this season in comparison to the rest of the NFC East? And who do you think? Give me your NFC East breakdown. Where do you think the top team and the bottom team is? Tell me where your team fits in.
I feel like the bottom team is almost likely going to be the Giants. I feel like the top two this year, probably the Commanders and the Eagles again, but I don't really see the Cowboys improving that much because they didn't do that much in free agency.
Okay, I don't disagree with you there, but again, if you get a healthy Dak Prescott, as much as, and I really do talk a lot of crap about Dak Prescott when he's healthy,
actually not that bad.
Now,
in the grand scheme of things,
yes,
you know what I mean. He's a very suitable quarterback. It breaks my heart to say that, but he is. It's almost terrible that they got him no receiver help. Can you imagine how Aaron Rodgers feels watching Green Bay draft a receiver high? Then poor Prescott. All those years that he spent there with no one to throw the ball to.
Oh my gosh.
Bro.
Oh my God. So Vaughn Stalks checking in. Shave me. Holy.
So stupid, bro.
Oh my God! Norm's checking in. You guys got me coughing now.
Norm, I'm with you. I hope they keep Dak and they keep paying him.
Let's get Amari Cooper.
Vaughn, let's throw this one to you. Do you think Dak Prescott is still a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts?
Yes.
Tell me why, please.
Hurts is assistant QB. I'm telling you, it's easy to just hand the ball off to Saquon, throw a slant to Brown, throw a streak to Smith. Any quarterback in the league can do what Hurts does. It's not impressive. Dak's better quarterback, all-around quarterback than Hurts is. He got better, vision. Interceptions, that 1 year weren't so good, but he rebounded and got runner-up in MVP voting. So I don't know.
Look, you're drinking the blue Kool-Aid, and I respect it. It's a team.
Who's the Super Bowl MVP of this past year? Can you say his name for me, Vaughn?
Dude, that's only because the damn Chiefs wanted to adjust to the nothing but run game because Saquon's the reason you got to the Super Bowl in the first place.
Now, listen. He's not going to attack you.
I'm just going to let you talk.
He's not entirely incorrect with that assumption. Damon Salim, one of the guys. When I think sports talk, when I think opinions, you're one of my top guys I go to. What are your thoughts on what Vaughn was saying about your Prescott Hurts comparison?
All right, so let me look at a few things with Jalen Hurts.
What's up, Mickey?
And me as a sportsman, I can separate myself from like it's particularly if as a player's homegrown. So meaning like he's our quarterback. So I'm loving him not only because he's an Eagle, but because of what he does on the field. So young fella, dig this here. I've heard all the talk about what Jalen Hurts can't do. Jalen Hurts can't pass. Jalen Hurts is a system quarterback.
Wind it up.
Jalen Hurts is a Kobe Bryant and a Michael Jordan. And what I mean by that,
oh, I love it.
He's a killer, but he's not as overt about it as they were. Right? Mm-hmm. He's a science, and I'm gonna give you a beautiful example. They said last year he couldn't beat the blitz. Oh, he can't read the blitz. He calls up Wink Martindale, former defensive coordinator for the Giants. He calls the man directly and asks that man, "What are you doing to me on the blitz?" And he told him, This year, he bust the blitz up. And he did it in the Super Bowl. Dak ain't doing that. Dak gives you what you call the Dak special. He gives you a pick when needed. It's called the Dak special. So when you talk about my quarterback,
Woo!
understand this dude's on a different level. They said he couldn't pass, so they stopped Saquon. What'd he do? And oh, by the way, I like Patrick Mahomes. He outplayed him twice in the Super Bowl, but this time he took on the hardware. And if that's not enough to prove to you what he is, I have nothing else for you, man. I have nothing.
Damon Salim, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Just drop it. That's it. So,
my man.
And Vaughn, you're handling yourself very well amongst a bunch of Eagles knuckleheads like ourselves. I do appreciate it. Let's get into let's jump away from the NFC East rivalry for a little bit. I mean, I have the list of all the Eagles draft picks, all their undrafted free agents, which some of them are rather interesting. The one wide receiver from Wake Forest, kid's a speedster, but we'll get into that later on in the show. Vaughn, I want to talk to you about Shedeur Sanders. Oh my God, oh my God, Vaughn, your people are checking in.
God, bro, this guy's always yapping, bro. Straight bullshit, bro. It's fucking Gage Winslow, bro.
It's healthy conversation.
You need a fan or open a window?
No, I'm just fine. I promise.
So Vaughn, do you think? Jesus Christ, I'll let you air out. Like, believe me, I got the underboob thing. I understand. It's like, do you think that Shedeur Sanders should have went higher than he did? And if so, why? And if not, why?
I feel like people overview him just because his dad's Deion Sanders, but I feel like they don't see the work that he really puts in. He should have went at least. He should have made it past the second round, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna make teams regret picking him in the 5th round.
Now, if he has that Sanders edge, which Vaughn, you're a little younger, and that is not your fault. You've seen what you've seen. Alan and Damon and myself saw his father play, and he was. And I'm,
league.
Yes,
Like,
we're old enough now where we've seen some of these legends their entire career.
Played two sports at a high level.
Played second best, in my opinion, two-sport athlete. Oh my God!
Yes, dude, he's the only two-sport athlete to play a playoff game and then jump on a plane and fly back and play and do something else.
You have to come up every week. Every week you have to come up. However, so if he has the edge that his father had, which his father would not be denied.
Yep.
His father, hold on, Norm, I can't, man. Norm's over in the producer's booth, cracking up laughing, and I gotta try and focus here. His father literally ran one of the fastest 40 times, joking around.
4-1.
Yeah.
4-1.
Now. The number one two-sport athlete, Bo Jackson, ran a sub 4-1-40 and ran straight out the building and kept running. One of the stories that I heard about him.
Yep.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Shedeur. If Shedeur does have some of that edge that his father has, I won't say dog, because Deion Sanders it wasn't a dog. He was it. I mean, he was the one. He was Revis Island a generation before Revis Island was there. And
yes,
I do believe, to Vaughn's point, that this young man is going to make some teams pay. The only problem is he is in quarterback hell right now. The Jew walking into that building as a new quarterback, the juju, the history, the bad luck, the jinx, everything is on him. Everything. Amazing quarterbacks have gone there and completely failed miserably. Deshaun Watson has gone there, and
he has his own outstanding issues. He's
to go into the Cleveland Browns. He's one of those dudes in the NFL, and now Shedeur has to go through all of that. Is he going to be another jersey on that list? of Cleveland Brown quarterbacks. But I do agree with Vaughn. I do think that this man's going to seize this opportunity because I think that put a huge chip on his shoulder.
Absolutely,
I agree
absolutely,
with
Tom. I mean, he was projected 3-4 months ago to go first, second, third overall pick, right? And then he fell to the 5th round. But the situation he's in with Joe Flacco being the highest rated quarterback that they have, right?
Right.
He can literally prove himself and either win the starting job or have the starting job by the end of the year. But it's all up to him and the work and the mentality that he has. He wants to be legendary. Then this is literally his opportunity to go to Cleveland and be legendary.
If
The place where where we all know quarterbacks go to die.
Yeah.
This is the opportunity.
They come. The rookies go in there stillborn. Like they don't even make it. They don't even make it through their first season. So Damon, I'm interested to get your take on this. What are your thoughts on the entire Shedeur Sanders from night one of the draft all the way to when he gets drafted? Your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I agree with Vaughn, man. I thought I actually watched Colorado this year because of his dad, because of Deion and what they did to the program, and coming from the other school he was, I think the HBCU school he was at, and I'm like, yo, he's doing some things, and I thought the best. So that night, I thought that if he didn't go in the first round, he should at least go in the second round. But I thought Pittsburgh should have really found a way to get him. I thought that would have been a good situation for him because they always have a good defense and they've always been a run-first team. So that would have been a good situation for him because he would have been around a good system. But, hey, like you guys said, man, he's in Cleveland. It's there for him to take it.
Exactly.
It's there for him to take it. I know they drafted the other quarterback, too, didn't they? The kid from Oregon, didn't they? Cleveland?
Yeah. Some I forget what the kid's name was, but they did draft a kid before him. Yeah.
So that's it's Cleveland.
I mean, you throw it up, you draft 2 quarterbacks. I mean, shit, one of them's got to work out, right?
One of them's got to work out. But the other thing too, though, Al, like people say, and I watched the draft and like Alabama's former coach, he was on the panel.
Saban?
Oh my God. Saban, yeah.
Saban.
He was saying that doesn't matter where you get drafted, as long as you drafted.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So he got drafted.
Yep.
But let me real quick say that kid who called him on a prank call, that's not right, man.
No, that was messed up. That was messed up.
I heard another player got a prank call at some point too. I mean,
Yeah. No, I heard a few players had gotten prank calls and things like that. And no, that ain't right. That ain't right. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, man, that's not cool, man. You mess with the person's emotions.
Exactly.
Level, you know what I mean? So I'm glad he got drafted, and hey, it's going to make fun conversation for Cleveland.
It is.
To your point, Dame, I really think him getting under a Mike Tomlin would have helped him. Maybe ground him. Maybe I don't know. Try and keep the beast, subsided.
Because the 2 places he didn't need to go to was the Giants or, in my opinion, Cleveland. Now, let me say this. Don't be surprised. It's not going to happen if Jerry Jones gets his hands on him, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't see it happen.
You never know.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott. How many good years does Dak Prescott have left, honestly, in your opinion?
He said, honestly.
How old is Dak? It depends on how old he is.
31.
He's like 26 or 27.
There's no way he's
got to be 31. I think he's like 31.
Way older than 26.
I think he might be like 31. I'm gonna check him. But I think
he's shit. Is he really? Is he that old?
I'm on it. 31 years old.
Yeah,
31.
31. Yeah. He's been in the league for a minute.
Oh, damn.
You don't
I was giving you the benefit of the doubt there.
When you don't see stats, you don't realize how long he's been in the league for.
Well, remember, he came in accidentally and replaced Tony Romo when Tony Romo got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how he got in.
What was
Yeah.
he? Was he Mississippi?
got
Was he
it.
Mississippi's quarterback? Is that where he went?
Mississippi. Mississippi, and they drafted him in like the third or fourth round or something like that. They got him late. He wasn't an early pick.
Okay.
So Dak Prescott was born July 29th, 1993. That means he was born
He'll be 32.
right around the time when the Cowboys were at the pinnacle.
Yeah.
All right, Dak's a system quarterback. He's so bad. Ooh, I don't know.
He's a bad quarterback.
don't.
I'm not going to say that he's a bad quarterback, but when you start talking about, listen, mechanics, and I don't deal with that. I deal with wins.
What are you talking? Are you talking analytics? Is that where we're going?
I can't stand them. But the thing is, it's because TK and you're a part of this generation. I know Al is. We grew up in the era where you made your bones in the playoffs.
Yes.
And they're all across the sports. You know, that you got your Gretzky's and your Yagers and those dudes, right? And Mr. Octobers and those dudes. And, you know, you had that in basketball and Magic, and so you had that in football. You had winners. So when these guys do well in the regular season and then really don't show up in the playoffs, even some players of our own, we got to question that at some point. You know what I mean? It's not a knock that he's not a bad quarterback. I wouldn't say that. But I mean, you know, Jalen Hurts is a champion, so he's in the different like and he's
MVP. He's an MVP.
Hurts wasn't some. Who was the guy for the Tampa Bay Bucks when they beat us? That was the quarterback. I forget.
Not Baker Mayfield, right?
No,
are you talking Brad Johnson?
It was another
quarterback back in the day with the T.G. Barber or
I think
whatever.
I think it was Brad Johnson.
Yeah, it was Brad Johnson. Yeah, he was like a systems quarterback. He wasn't like, you know. But anyway, yeah. Nonetheless, yeah, that's it for me with that. He's all right.
Vaughn, where would you put Jerry Jones? Where would you rank him in the four GMs and the NFCs? Where would you rank him?
Recently he's four, but way back he had early success, but since that he's just been awful.
Vaughn, would you say that that Jerry Jones has had minimal success since losing Jimmy Johnson?
Yeah, because he hasn't even been to the NFC Championship. It's not minimal success; it's no success.
Okay, I just wanted to hear you say that.
I hear you from the producer booth, Norm, but unless you want to get on Candy Camera up here. But Justin McNulty checking in. Dak won't do any more than Romo did. He'll win regular season games, but none in the playoffs. It always
so far so good on that promise.
It always kind of confused me why the Cowboys seem to be struggling the last 1,000 or so years in the last 10 or 15 years really. They make it into the playoffs, and then there's some metaphorical wall that they hit, and I don't understand it, because some of those 12-4, 13-3 Cowboys teams are pretty tough, and as much as I hate throwing any kind of flowers anywhere near the Dallas Cowboys, I can take my homer hat off for a little bit and give credit where credit is due. What do you think? What do you think the Cowboys need to do, Vaughn, this season to get over, to win the NFC East? If you're sitting at the helm, what kind of moves do you have to make, or what, moving players around, doing different things? What do you think needs to be done in order to kind of get the Cowboys out of that direct they were in last year?
You got to get Dak some help. You got to trade for a receiver. Sign a receiver don't really matter. You need help. You need depth. Pretty sure we addressed the running back situation pretty well in the draft with that running back from Texas. We got good depth in free agency, but we got to get Dak some receivers and stop the run. And that's about it.
Now,
I think your defense is built to stop the run, but yeah, you have CeeDee Lamb, and there's no one else. There's literally no one else for Dak to throw the ball to. So, I understand you on that. But yeah, I think your defense is actually, I hate to say it, but a little better off than we might want to admit. But I think your offense is definitely subpar at best. If I don't, just trying
and we never know what's going to come of draft picks. Nobody has a crystal ball.
Absolutely.
Now Howie Roseman, on the other hand, Howie has been setting the world on fire the last few years. Drafting, everyone knows how good he is with money and moving money and talking to players, and getting talent in here, replacing talent, moving guys out at the right time. That's a big deal too, because Philadelphia teams from the past were notorious for hanging on the players too long. Now, there's players that come along once in a generation, like a Brandon Graham, like a Jason Kelsey, that spend their entire career here and go out on their own terms. But there was a time in Philadelphia sports where we just seen, the Phillies are a prime example. The 2011 Phillies team, 2012. Wait, yeah. Right, those teams hanging on to Ryan Howard too long, hanging on to Jimmy Rollins too long, Chase Utley too long. Just using them as an example. So I'm hoping that we can kind of continue with the success of just knowing the right time to let folks go.
Yeah. So segue into that, Dallas Goedert. We did not draft.
Excellent.
Right? We did not draft a tight end through the draft. I don't know if we got one undrafted. I don't have that info. I know we didn't.
I have that information, and we did not.
Yeah, we drafted.
We drafted one wide receiver, a couple of running backs, and an offensive tackle, and then the rest were defensive side of the ball.
Okay.
And I think the running backs that we picked up undrafted are basically their roster spot fillers for training camp and preseason. I don't know, if they're going to
they even make the team they didn't make the team.
TK makes them sound like jobbers from wrestling.
Like Viasika Hammond when he was working at Chicky and Pete's. During the week and then returning kickoffs on the weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Johnny Rods is about to fight.
Or no, it wasn't Viasika Hammond. It was it was like Viasika Hammond's nephew. What was his name?
Yeah. He was he would run kicks. Oh my gosh.
That's gonna drive me nuts now. But anyway.
So Dallas is still an Eagle, right?
For now,
yes. Still an Eagle. So where do we go? Where do we go with that? Do you think we're still trying to put him on the trading block, or do you think that he's just going to be he's going to be Eagle this year? Because I'm cool with him being the Eagle again.
They did nothing with the tight end position, and that surprised me. Yeah. I thought you had several picks in the 5th and 6th round. I thought they would take a flyer on maybe a project player that you would over a season or two work with them. But they didn't do that. So maybe they're just like, we're going to keep. That's the one Dallas, Vaughn, that I wouldn't mind, keeping around here. And when he was drafted, I did not call him Dallas. I did not call him Dallas for his first 3 or 4 years here. I called him DG because I wouldn't say that word.
Yep,
but
DG. He's the last Dallas to win a championship in quite a few years.
Whoa. That's some good work. We should have had
so now let's we got about.
Let me just say I'm with Al on that. I like Dallas Goedert. I know he gets injured a little bit, but he comes back and he played a heck of a playoffs for us.
Absolutely.
His hands are great. He can block. What you do is you do the Howie special. You restructure the contract, give him a year guaranteed, next year option. You know the routine, Howie. You keep the guy, and then next year, Al, you draft somebody because now you got more picks.
Yeah,
right. You got
more 12 next year, right?
Yeah, you have more picks to play with. It'll be a better, as it always is, a good class for tight end. So you get your tight end next year. You run it back with the guy.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
broke, don't fix it. That's it.
Yep, I like it. I like it.
Let's stay in the division here. How about What are your guys' thoughts? And Vaughn, I'll kick it to you first. What's your thoughts on the Giants draft and moving back up to get Jackson Dart?
I don't know if they'll start him this year. They might set him behind Russell Wilson, give him experience. But I feel like after Russell Wilson's time in New York is up, he's going to step up and be a good quarterback.
In watching, it was the perfect opportunity for them to bring him in under Russell Wilson's tutelage and kind of learn from a savvy NFL vet who's won a Super Bowl, knows what it takes to win a Super Bowl. I still firmly believe that their GM is the dumbest human being I've ever seen on television. That Hard Knocks, when the owner of the New York Giants says, I'm going to have a hard time sleeping at night if Saquon Barkley goes to Philadelphia. And then Saquon Barkley goes to Philadelphia and has the best season an Eagles running back has ever had in the first year.
The best season in NFL history. That's
overall, including the playoffs and the Super Bowl. Yes,
the winners. He got the winners. The winners
had the most yards, total yards in NFL history.
Mm-hmm. The winners.
Yeah. Oh man, it's rough out here. Go ahead, David.
No, I was just going. No, go ahead. It's one of my favorite plays in the Super Bowl. That's all.
What this most recent Super Bowl?
Yeah, it just goes back, and I'm gonna let it go. When people say, and it's not just Vaughn, I'm not beating up on Vaughn. When people say about Jalen, right? So the one where he hits Devontae in stride, that's the one, Al, where you're on the street, TK, and you with the Nerf ball, and you run deep, and it's just you catch it. That's the one you dream of, and it happened with our guy.
Yes,
I watched it. Yes, it did. That's my favorite play.
Yes.
Now, for me, it wasn't the Nerf ball because the Nerf ball didn't carry as far as my rubber Notre Dame college football. That son of a bitch, I can throw that 3/4 of a block. And Vaughn from the city, like we're all from the Philly area. We talk in blocks. We don't talk in miles. We talk in blocks. I heard a comedian do this. He said, you know how you can tell if you're from Long Island or New Jersey or New York? Long Island talks in knots because they're on the boat. They're nautical miles. New Jersey talks in miles. New York, Philly, inner city, we talk in blocks. Everything city blocks. I can throw. I'm not like Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite, where I can throw a football over those. When 1982, I could throw a football a quarter mile. But I in 1998, I could throw a little rubber Notre Dame football 3/4 of a city block.
Man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
People are like.
Those city blocks were like, country blocks. They're damn long blocks.
Well. Country blocks are a little different. My mom and dad are in southern Chester County.
Blocks are 7 miles long.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so Vaughn, I'm going to kick this one to you. You've been a phenomenal sport tonight. You're really, you're coming in here. You're taking a beating, but it's a playful one. Now let's get into you a little bit. I know you're a Cowboys fan, but do you have interest in any of the other teams? And if so, what are your other 3 major sports teams?
Like baseball, basketball, hockey.
Yeah.
Oh, the Phillies, Sixers, and Flyers.
Beautiful.
Sweet.
So let's get a little background into this this disease that you have that doesn't allow you to cheer for that 4th team. What is the 3 for 4s explode my brain. So I've sat on buses on my way like places, and I'll talk to somebody, and you'll see on like the back of their school. That back in the 90s, Vaughn, and back in the 80s, we had these patches we used to put on the back of our school bags. And some kids had Metallica, some kids had Nirvana. I had Eagles, Flyers, Sixers, and Philly. But you would every now and then you'd see a guy that would have, the 3 teams, but the Cowboys. What is it? How did you become a Cowboys fan?
I just grew up with a bunch of Cowboys fans, and I don't know. I just never really liked the Eagles.
So we should be calling child youth services on your dad. Then is what you're saying.
No, I mean I think you raised me the right way. Nobody wants to be an Eagles fan.
You know, I love your old man. He's a good buddy of mine. I'm just messing around. Now, there are some people out there, and so you get my respect.
Reno Mahe.
Thank you.
Yes.
Woo, that was driving me nuts.
Reno
All right, but
Mahe.
anyway.
Holy
I
shit.
was about to Google, but it hit me.
He used to bust tables during the week at Chicky and Pete's and then return kickoffs for the Eagles on the week.
Yes.
Gangster.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep.
So Vaughn, I respect you. Stand by your football team. You stand by it strong. That's respectable. You don't crumble. Your old man crumbles before you do when I get on him about the Cowboys. So I got to give you the utmost respect. There are those people out there though, and I'm going to explain this right now because now we're in kick around time. It doesn't matter what we talk about. We did our little draft coverage. There are those people out there, those human beings and there are actually some that live in this town, and I won't mention any names, but one of their brothers might be watching a show right now. Anyway, there's those guys out there that are the Lakers, Yankees, Cowboys fans. It makes
They're Duke fans too.
now.
Yeah, they're always Duke fans.
It makes my skin crawl when I hear that because it's like I already know how old you are when you tell me that they are your team. I know the age range of how old you are when you tell me, yes, I love the Lakers. I love the Cowboys. Get out of the 1990s now. Or I'm going to say, or you were an 80s baby, go Lakers, 90s into the Cowboys, and then the Yankees in the early 2000s.
Yep.
Yeah, that was it.
Yep.
So when there's people like that, and I won't mention any names, even though the individual is a fine, upstanding gentleman and a great guy in the community, but I won't mention any names. It's those like the 3 for 4 people. I'm always interested to know. Is it
How you got twisted?
Is it? I almost like. Is it my fault? Is it our fault? The Eagles fans. There's people that I talk to, and the producer booth. We got to get a soundproof door in that freaking producer booth. But I had people tell me straight to my face, plain as day, it's because of you and your friends that I hate the Philadelphia Eagles. Hate them. And then I'll ask and I'll go, well, why? It's like, I can't go to a game wearing my team's colors. And then I go, and Norm and I have had this conversation. Vaughn and I have had this conversation. Big Vaughn and I, little Vaughn and I too. What in your right mind would make you think that you can enter, I won't even say Lincoln Financial Field, Veterans Stadium? Veterans Stadium is the reason people became Cowboys fans and Redskins fans and Giants fans and not Eagles fans, because that place, and Vaughn, this was the Eagles and Phillies.
Ceremonial domain. How can you enter that wearing not our colors?
So Vaughn, for a little backstory, a little history on the vet. It was a dual stadium that the Eagles and Phillies both played in, and a lot of Cowboys fans, a lot of people that I've talked to over the years, went there one time and were done with the Philadelphia Eagles because there is a level of scumbaggery. I don't look it up. It's in the dictionary. Scumbaggery that goes on, that went on at that place, that doesn't happen in Moroccan prisons. Okay, the like Veterans Stadium, in the bowels of the stadium had a jail. Judge Seamus McCafferty actually set, so there was a judge and police, and Judge Seamus McCafferty actually held court under the stadiums for drunken Eagles fans.
Up in the 90s.
So it's a black eye. It's something we're not proud of. You're throwing batteries at people. You're throwing snowballs at Santa.
Dude, we used to have a guy in our section. Okay, he's a handicapped gentleman, but they would put a keg under his wheelchair.
Yep.
And wheel him up.
I know the
to
story.
The 700 level, and then serve everybody beers. It didn't matter how old you were. They were handing out beers.
Get out of here.
Just handing them out.
Hold on.
Just handing them out.
Here's another one, Vaughn, and again, this is go scumbag tree. Back in the day, at Veterans Stadium, you could bring sandwiches in the stadium. You could bring hoagies into the stadium. Well, people would take vodka and whiskey bottles and wrap them in hoagie wrappers and bring them into the stadium. So instead of drinking beer, you have guys drinking handles of whiskey and vodka at this game. Mind you, these are the same people that have been drinking in the parking lot since dawn. Okay, it's a 4:15 game with the wind coming in out of that right side end zone that it always does in the Veterans Stadium. These guys have been drunk for 6 hours, and now they're raw dogging it out of a bottle of whiskey. Can you just imagine the nonsense that can go on at that place? Now, Vaughn, have you ever been to an Eagles game at Lincoln Financial Field or a Cowboys game like Cowboys Eagles?
I'll never go to.
I can't. I don't know why with the horror stories that I'm explaining. And like when I was a kid,
now Tom, the horror stories. Now you gotta add on these horror stories is when we sucked, but yet we were still there. We still showed up every Sunday.
69,732 seats.
We still showed up.
And every single one of them had asses in those seats. 3-13 seasons. Rich friggin' Kotite, okay? Yep. Rich
we
Kotite.
We still showed up.
Oh, and here we go. Now I got a story. This leads me into a story here, Vaughn. I'll give you a good one here while you're on with this. And Damon, you'll appreciate this one too.
Yeah, man.
I worked at FedEx, and Damon did as well, and so did Alan. Actually, the three guys on here were all former FedEx guys.
Yeah, man.
Alan calls me one night after work, and he was like, I won tickets to a bus trip up to the Meadowlands. This was the old Meadowlands. It wasn't the new Meadowlands that they have up there, or maybe it was like the first year of the new Meadowlands.
I think it was the first year. Yeah.
So he's like,
we were way at the top. And I thought I was going to die. Yeah.
He goes, do you want to go? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, can I stay at your house Saturday? He's like, yeah. Just drink all night long, assholes. Drive down and park at the stadium. We're on the bus by 7 a.m.
Yeah.
I think it was a 1:00 game.
Yeah.
Drive up, beer and everything on the bus. We drive up. I mean, we are not in the right frame of mind to be politically correct.
Yes.
We get off the bus. It's a tailgate. They have, Vaughn, have you ever seen those huge fishing coolers, like 60-inch big white fishing coolers? So
I know where you're going.
This is part one of this story. This is where they had all the beer. They kept everything. Thank you, producer, for bringing this story up. This is good. Tom, you need another beer? Yeah, I'll take another beer. And he's off on my right shoulder. And all right, I got you. I turn around 3 seconds later. He's gone. Disappeared. Like he was abducted by aliens. And then you hear, he fell in the cooler and the door latched on top of him.
Oh,
yes, it did.
It did. So I had to save his life. Then, Alan, this next part, you're the reason people hate the Philadelphia Eagles fans, and this is why. We go inside. We're in the Meadowlands, Vaughn. This is not our stadium, okay? We are outnumbered easily 20-1.
And I don't give a damn. I don't care. Bring it on.
The Eagles are winning at this point. And Alan thinks it's a phenomenal idea to start running his mouth to a sea of blue behind us. And now we weren't the only ones.
The New Yorkers.
Yeah, we weren't the only ones that were drinking all day long.
That soccer dude from Europe, man, who was ready to throw down right with me.
The Irish guy, yeah. These Brooklyn bums, all right, are giving it back to Allen, and he turns around and says, "I will beat all of your asses right now." Well, that's all they needed to hear.
Oh, shit.
I pop up, I put my hand on his shoulder, and I'm like, time to go. And as we're getting cups and cans rained down on us, we're out into the mezzanine, and we're walking down the stairs, and this guy, the bottom right of your screen, is like a bull terrier, okay? Now, I'm bigger than I was back then, but I was easily twice Allen's size. And I'm grabbing his shirt, and he's yelling, and there's 7, 8, 9, 10 people coming down the stairs. I scoop him up and throw him over my shoulder, and I'm running down the stairs 2 at a time while he's on my shoulder, pointing back at these people that I'm running from so we don't get destroyed, cursing them out, telling them about themselves. We get out to the bus. Both pass out. Mine due to exhaustion. Allen could have been from extracurricular activity. We went to find out the Eagles won, but needless to say, it was a memorable trip up to the Meadowlands. To say
it
the
was.
least.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I was ready to fight the whole stadium.
Oh man,
We won that game though. We did win. We did win that game.
We found out when the people came back to the bus, and we were like, "Did we win?"
I'm
Yeah, all right.
And that Irish dude, he was crushing beers all the way back to Philly.
The Irish guys are they're next level. They're next level.
It's insane.
I knew about the vodka. A friend of mine used to do security at the vet. This is back in the 90s, and he would tell me how he would confiscate the liquor and the court. But that one there with the guy in the wheelchair and the keg, that's freaking.
Yeah,
There was
they'd roll him in. He'd have the blanket and just roll him. Just roll him right in, man.
So
crazy.
up here in Schuylkill County, they have bush parties, and I have not had the privilege as of yet to go out to a bush party. But the younger guys and everything go out in the woods, light a giant bonfire, drink beers, and everything like that. In Philly, we did some dumb shit. For instance, there was a U2 concert at Franklin Field. Franklin Field is where the University of Pennsylvania team plays.
Yep.
And U2, because there was a concert going on at the stadium at the same time, U2 had to book Franklin Field. Okay. I made it a career of sneaking into Franklin Field when I was a kid to watch Penn football games. I never paid to watch the Penn relays, ever. So at the foot of the South Street Bridge, which is, if you're coming out of South Philly, leads you over to Franklin Field. At the foot of the South Street Bridge, there was a beer distributor. My buddies and I bought a keg of beer, rolled it over the South Street Bridge, and my friend's brother worked security, let us in, and we hid this keg under the steps. There was a little cutout under the steps. So we drank, and there was 8 of us, and we drank a keg of beer during this concert. Whoa. So now we don't have cool bush parties. We sure do some dumb shit of our own down there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Vaughn, don't listen.
Oh man, I remember drinking warm mongooses out in the woods and smoking a joint. Yeah, that's about as crazy as I got.
Earmuffs full. Well, look. That's going to do it for us. I don't know how I ended the show with story time. I want to thank Damon Salim for coming on with us.
Yes, thank you.
Norm Checks and Mad Dog 2020. I've drank a bottle or 2. Orange Jubilee.
Yep.
The raspberry one was the best one in my opinion. But anyway, not that I know anything about that stuff.
Never been there. No.
I want to thank Damon Salim, longtime Pattison Phanatics, for jumping in with us. Alan, as always, and Vaughn. You were a great sport tonight, my friend. I really appreciate you coming on, for sure.
Thank you. You were a great sport, Vaughn. Anytime, man. I'm sorry I had to break your balls.
Well, I mean, it comes with the territory, but you're really insightful. You got a lot of knowledge, and keep it up. You never know. You might have a career in this if hitting dingers and your Babe Ruth baseball league doesn't pay off. Maybe you got a spot behind the mic, and you're always welcome here on the Pattison Phanatics show. So with that said, we're going to get out of here. For Damon Salim, Alan Andrikavich, and Vaughn Vassay, I'm Tom Kelly. This is the Pattison Phanatics show, and we're out of here.
Peace.
She's got stories to make your night with talents, take sharp as a knife.